Welcome to the Right Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Williams, best-selling romance author, book coach, and founder of Serenade Publishing. I've been an avid reader since I could hold a book and have spent over a decade immersed in the world of writing, editing, and publishing fiction. I know firsthand what it takes to turn a love of storytelling into a sustainable, soul-aligned author career. Each week, I share real talk about writing fiction, marketing smarter, and staying inspired, along with up-to-the-date industry insights and strategies that are working right now. You'll also hear from fellow authors, editors, and industry experts who are out there doing the work and making waves. Here, we put the woo in the work of writing, publishing, and growing your author business. Think of this as your creative business pep talk, packed with heart, hustle, and a little bit of magic. So get cozy and join me. Your writing journey starts now. Hey scribe, Sarah here, and welcome back to the Right Podcast. Today's episode is one I'm really excited about, especially if you've ever found yourself thinking, I just publish on Amazon, but I keep hearing I should be doing more. For so many authors, Amazon feels like the whole world of publishing. And while it's a powerful platform, it's not the only door available to you, especially if you're interested in bookstores, libraries, or reaching readers internationally. So today, I'm sitting down with Chris from IngramSpark to talk about what Ingram actually does, how it supports authors behind the scenes, and why so many professional indie authors use it alongside Amazon, not instead of their creativity, but in support of their long-term author business. We're talking about pricing in plain English, selling to libraries, how bookstores really work, what authors in Australia should know, and what opportunities exist beyond our local market. This is a beginner-friendly conversation. No jargon, no assumptions, just real clarity around how print-on-demand and global distribution actually work, and how you can make smart decisions without feeling overwhelmed. So whether you're publishing your first book or thinking about the bigger picture, this one's for you. Let's dive in. Chris, thank you for joining me on the Right Podcast today. How are you?
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much for the invite. It's lovely to chat with you again after being up on the wonderful Sunshine Coast last year and at your fabulous event.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and supporting it. We had such a great time and meeting so many beautiful authors and readers. So yeah, can't wait to do it again.
Look, it's just such a collaborative community. And that's what I left the event just saying, wow, really fabulous how the authors are just supporting each other there and, all helping each other. It's great to see. So, yeah, kudos to you in organising such a great event.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a small job, but it was well worth it. So I've been using IngramSpark since around about 2016 when I published my first novel. But a lot of my authors who will be watching or listening this show, they will only really know about Amazon's print-on-demand service. So can you start by explaining what IngramSpark actually does and why an author might want to use it instead of or as well as Amazon?
Yeah, well, with IngramSpark, for an author that's just getting going, you can reach Amazon through us regardless. So you can actually distribute through not only our booksellers and places such as Booktopia and Dymocks and The Nile and Fish Pond and all those big online stores, but you can also get to, of course, physical bookstores through Ingram. And to Amazon as well. So really it's the distribution, I think, Sarah, that's the big difference. We're generally regarded, Ingram, as the biggest book distributor in the world with a reach of over 40,000 channels globally. So by uploading through IngramSpark, you have access to the biggest and most vast distribution network in the world. So it's a pretty good selling point.
Yeah, that's incredible. How long has IngramSpark actually been around for?
It started in 2013. So, I know you started your journey, I think, in 2016.
Yep.
Yeah. So you were nice and early in the pathway. But yeah, look, it came about really as a reaction to demand from the industry because people perhaps would have heard of Lightning Source and it's all the same. So, I'm sitting in the offices here in Melbourne, Southeast at the moment above our print facility, and we print for Lightning Source and IngramSpark. So once print on demand kind of got established, then there was a need to fulfill not just traditional publishers who print with us, but independent publishers, and giving them a platform and a reach and a way to easily open an account and start printing and selling books.
Absolutely. And I definitely have authors, especially early ones, self-publishing, and they do come to me. They're like, I want my books to be everywhere. I go, well, you better print with IngramSpark then.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
the big picture and like how do you get them into bookstores through Ingram? Is there any like secret shortcuts we have to take?
Well, look, the first step, I suppose, is by opening an account, loading your interior file, loading your cover file, and getting your book loaded. And then once you've set your pricing, Sarah, both for Australia and globally, then that's the first step, right? And you're then enabled into that distribution channel. So once you've done that, and for a short period of time for that data to feed through to those various channels. The exciting thing is you'd be able to go to, say Barnes and Noble in the US and look up and see your book there. You'd be able to go to Waterstones or Gardeners in the UK and see your book there, and Booktopia here in Australia and the Nile. And so that's kind of the exciting thing. The next point, I guess, is, to how do you get noticed? Because you've got access to that catalog, but there's things that you can do and there's things that we can educate author publishers with to enable that best title discoverability. And of course, that comes into some of the more, technical things, I guess, behind the title load of metadata and as your first point of discoverability.
How does pricing really affect it? I know there's certain things like doing a 0.99 at the end on ebooks and print books for that matter. But how does that really work? Like, I think that's where some authors will get a bit confused with, bookstore discounts and returns, non-returns, and all those sorts of things. So what should we be doing?
Yeah. Look, it's a big, wide world, right? And it publishing and it's I guess what we've taken is what used to be a really complex model, Sarah, and made it attainable for everyone to actually be able to print a high quality book that can sit on a bookshelf in your Demic store next to all of the other trade publications. So you can get there. But yeah, the thing with pricing is that we have an inbuilt calculator within the platform and within your account. So it's free to set up an account. So you go in, you can open your IngramSpark account. You can look at the price of similar books in your category. So that's where we would kind of start. So if the book in your genre, and you look at, say, if your book is, a 200-page type, a paperback, let's say it's a romance book. So the first step would be to kind of, walk into your local bookstores and have a look at these books, see what they're selling for. The next step is to then put the pricing in the calculator as you're enabling this distribution. And the calculator will give you in real time, how much publisher compensation you're going to make. Because what we don't want, right, is to have a negative publisher compensation. So, if you're enabling distribution, you want to be, we want our authors to be making some money. So the whole way that kind of works is by putting a retail price in. You then would put your trade discount in. So this is all done within the calculator, and you'll see in real time how much compensation you're making. So let's say, for example, you're pricing at $29.95 or something like that for a 200-page book. It might cost you, $7 to print. So if you think of, say a $30 book, now the trade discount in Australia, you're expecting, or the trader expecting, is something like 53 to 55%. So that's a big chunk of discount off your retail price. And so, authors sometimes get a bit of a shock, but with that. But if you take, say, a $30 book and straight away there's 55% off there for the trade discount, then that comes down to $13.50, something like that. And then the print price might be $7, and you might be left with, say, $6.50 publisher compensation per book. So really it's kind of looking at similar books in your genre and then allowing for that trade discount when you turn that pricing distribution on.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the bookstores are only going to stock it if they can make money on it. So yeah, it's business.
Exactly. And yeah, and we wanted to feature well in their algorithms, where their algorithms are proprietary. So, we don't know what those algorithms are, but you would think that they're going to actually have a better representation for books that they can actually make money from. So
yeah.
So it's yeah.
And we're talking bookstores. We're not talking Big W, which are ridiculously cheap. Some books.
Yeah. Well, look, those those kind of market type stores, they're usually buying, at very high discounts. So those kind of stores, really, you need to be kind of pretty established to have presence in those ones, because you're going at an even higher discounts. It's a little bit tough too to get into airport bookstores, and look, everyone's competing for the limited shelf space too. So, whether it's a big retailer like Big W or Kmart, or an airport bookstore with very, very limited shelf space, everyone's trying to find their way into those spaces.
Yeah. Absolutely. What about libraries? Does Ingram help with libraries within Australia and internationally even?
Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. We all the major library suppliers will have Ingram as part of their daily or weekly ordering schedule. So it's just the library suppliers. So the biggest library suppliers in Australia have accounts with us. So places like James Bennett, Peter Powell, and ALS, all those kind of library suppliers, their day-to-day ordering can be through Ingram. So, it'll just be once again you've made that title active and put your pricing in, then it will be available to all those library distributors just as part of their ordering process. For example, a new author perhaps in a local area might walk into their library and say, hey, I'm Sarah, I've just written a book, I live in this community, I'd love you to stock it. Then they can just punch in the ISBN of the book and pick it up and order a copy. It's that simple for them.
Yeah, I certainly remember in 2017, I guess it would have been, and right up until probably just before the pandemic, I was getting emails from Peter Powell and ALS and all these sorts of things, and I had to send them. And suddenly that just all stopped, but I was making more, obviously, with Ingram, and I worked out that that's where the books were getting sold to. So that made my life a lot easier, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Also a little tip I've got. I talk to my library, the Sunshine Coast Libraries. I have a great relationship with them, and they actually didn't want me to gift them a paperback. They really said they had to go through their channels in order to make it be in the catalogue. So I've worked out a nice little tip, which I'll share with everyone, is actually if you can request if you're a member of the library, just go in and request, preferably, through their online request division. And every time I do that, they always get my next book. So
Fantastic.
that helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then whenever you see it in the library, you rent it out and then you deliver it straight back. We want to monetize.
Yeah, and how good just seeing, your own book in your library and it's your community and your network and your family and friends and yeah, even better, when you can take that photo that everyone wants of your book in a bookstore, in a big bookstore in George Street in Sydney or something, and you're doing the selfie with you and your book on the shelf. So
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
one
So
of the things, sorry, Sarah, I was just going to say one of the things we love doing is, when we're interstate, is we'll walk into the bookshops and we can quickly go to the back page and have a look and see what's printed by Ingram because it's listed on the back page there. So it's a bit of a fun game for us going in and seeing how many of our books we can find in there.
actually, admittedly, I do that when somebody gets the first thing I go to is, if it looks self-published, I am back page. It was Amazon, it's with Ingram, it's with Lulu, whatever it is. So yeah, it is quite one of those fun little games that I do too. Oh, that is awesome. So do you have any tips for authors? They've set up their account, and I know they can do ebooks with IngramSpark as well, which is great. Um, but any specific tips that you can give that would definitely help boost the algorithm, keywords, those sorts of things? Anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many wonderful resources we have on the website. So first off, Sarah, I'd recommend going to ingramspark.com and just going through the blog, go through the resources. We have so many fact sheets and metadata checklists. Metadata is kind of your first point. So you want to be keyword rich. You want to have your BISAC codes for anyone that doesn't know what they are. It's a classification code. So you want to have your 3 BISACs so that your book is discoverable. You want to have thema codes sorted. And yeah, be keyword rich and have your description. And there's lots of tools and guides that can help you with that. One of the things we're excited about too in 2026 is some more metadata enhancement tools that will come through the platform itself. So, we're always trying to help authors through the platform as much as we can. And there's some interesting things coming in 2026, which should help as well. But I would highly recommend jumping on the website and going through the resources, looking at the checklists, looking at our marketing tips, all of those kind of things. All those resources are there for you for free to help you not only publish your book, but then to help you reach your goals, which, hopefully will be becoming a full-time author.
Yeah, absolutely. And so using Ingram, obviously you'll take the print costs from that, and it's free to upload as currently. And then there's just extra, what do we call them? Editing fee? I feel like it's called when you need to make an adjustment to it.
Sarah, we've got some great news for you in that regard. There will be the file revision fees are being abolished.
Yay! That's exciting.
So that's really exciting. It's you're quite right. The fee has been in place. So for a revision after 60 days. So it has been, kind of like there's 60 days to make your changes, and then there would be, I think it's Australian $25, Sarah. But that is being abolished. So I think from my understanding is from February 1st. So it's very, very close. Yay. So really good timing to chat with you and pass on that exciting news that they are going.
Oh, that's awesome. I've always been a member of the Romance Writers of Australia, so I've always got the code. But
Yeah.
but that is really good because I know it myself and a lot of authors with a big backlist now will
Mm.
update something and then have to go back and change it everywhere, and it can get a little bit expensive once you've used codes and stuff. So that is really good to hear. I'm really, really glad that you're doing that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Me too.
So I know at the moment we've got special editions, premium things, and of course I don't have it here right now. I should have, but I did embedded edges with IngramSpark and the dust jacket, and people can buy it directly now, which I just love. How has that been received? Are people adoring those sorts of features now with Ingram?
Yeah, well, the exciting thing with that is that is our author publishers work these things out for themselves. So the first time I saw that coming through our facility, I've gone up to one of our facility people and just said, where was that printed? I didn't know, and he was like, yeah, that's printed here. And so one of our authors had just worked out a way to technically, I think it's called forced edges, and a way to manipulate the bleed of the file to wrap it around the edge. And it kind of originated from there. And that same author, I think, where I first saw it, is now listed as an edge printing expert on the IngramSpark platform. So which is fantastic. So it means that authors can do something special, can do special editions with, say, forced edge, or they can just have it as standard if they want in their paperback. The beauty of it, of course, is there's no extra cost. There's no extra cost for doing a forced edge because it's just manipulating the file bleed. And so our romance authors in particular, love it and are embracing it. But if you think of doing, say, a special edition with, like you were saying, Sarah, with a hardcover and a jacket and a forced edge or an edge design, then suddenly you've got something that is a really special product that is print on demand. And that's going to print like that from here. It's going to print like that from the UK or the US. Mm-hmm. So at no extra printing cost by having that forced edge. So it allows our authors to go in and make special editions and not have to, do any extra work or pay for sprayed edges, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I did make a little mistake when I was getting some printed. I was doing coloured edges and I forgot to change that you actually needed coloured printing instead of black and white. My own fault. Lesson learned. I only had to print one though. So
yeah, well, that's it. And and we always say, send yourself a copy first. No matter how it looks in your e-proof, just send yourself a copy. You'll always see something perhaps in a hard copy that you might have missed digitally. So yeah, at least you did the right thing and sent a copy first.
And once I finished it, they looked amazing. So.
yeah. They're incredible, and the creativity of authors with their design on these is great. I think, I'm not sure if we spoke about it, Sarah, at the Sunshine Coast Writers Festival, but there's an edge bleed technique where you can move the pages and the image changes either way. So one way, for example, could be a leaf, and by moving the pages the other way, it can be like an arrow. So it's like author publishers they amaze me. They just push the envelope all the time. It's like, what can we get out of this print on demand? So they're the creative ones that are enlightening us all, really. It's fantastic.
No, that is awesome. And of course, we can also do things with Ingram, such as large print books. I know they're really popular, especially, sight impaired and that sort of thing. What else can we look forward to from IngramSpark?
Well, look, there's some exciting things coming this year, including the most exciting thing I can't wait for is our e-commerce. So So there's a product that's available at the moment in the US and the UK, and Australia's next in line, and it's called Share and Sell. And this is a way of direct selling for author publishers. So this is a way you can essentially embed a code in your website. Let's say, for example, you're going on holiday. You might be selling off your website. So you're selling direct and you print books with us and you send them and you pack and ship them yourself directly to your customers. So you can be doing that now and bypassing the retail discount. But this is a way of not having to do anything and still do the same. So with Share and Sell, you can either embed a link on your website, you can put it in your socials, in your email signature, you can sell, basically with a link, your buyer, your reader will click on the link, put in their postal details. Ingram will handle the transaction, the financial transaction. It will trigger us to print and ship the book to the customer, and you are not doing anything. So for that same $30 book we were talking about, that's costing, say, $7 to print, my understanding is the share and sell fee for that would be, say, $5 Australian. So for a $30 book now, by selling it direct, you're bypassing the 55% trade discount. So we take that away, which means your $30 book minus $7 for printing, minus the $5 fee, then suddenly you're making $18 per book, which is really exciting. So the only thing you'd be losing yourself by not packing and shipping is probably that $5, but it's a way of just expanding what you do as an author. So you can, and when we do get that, we're looking at it being global. So it means that your authors can sell direct to the UK and it will trigger a sale exactly the same as it would here. Yeah. So more publisher compensation in the hands of authors and more flexibility in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's been available in the States and I think the UK for a couple of years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, in not the UK, only a few months now, but yeah, you're quite right, Sarah. It's been in the States for quite a while, Share and Sell for US-based accounts, and we're just waiting for it to come to Australia. Australia can take a little bit longer because of our, GST laws and all that, and which can complicate things. But yeah, it is coming. E-commerce is coming to Australia, and yeah, we can't wait. Our authors are really excited about it.
Fantastic. And to open an account with IngramSpark, do we need anything in particular? Do new authors need ABN numbers or anything like that?
Yeah, so it used to be before my time with Ingram, it used to be that you would pay to get going, and now of course the account's free, so you can go in, open an account. You need a credit card, so you log your credit card and you can create your imprint or your publisher name. So you can be whatever publisher name you want. It's your account. You're the author publisher. And yeah, the credit card load is so that when you print your proof copy or when a retailer buys your book, it's covering the print cost. And then your publisher compensation and sales reporting tools are all within that as well. So it's fairly straightforward to open an IngramSpark account now and be underway. And there is a book building tool as well for authors that need that bit of help in getting going. We certainly never say that for a first-time author it's going to be a simple process, but you can get there. I'm sure you can vouch for this, Sarah. It's like the first one you do will be your hardest, and then it'll get easier after that.
Actually, the first time when I was loading, I don't know if you still sell it, but there was actually a book you could buy called How to Upload to Spark, and I still have it.
Yeah,
now of course you'd just go on YouTube or something.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what most people will do. But yeah, the other thing that's coming, I'm probably I don't know if I'm meant to be saying all of these things, but I'm going to say it anyway, Sarah. But yeah, is some real enhancements in a cover generator. So for those authors that perhaps are at that point where they can't afford to go to a cover designer, there'll be a cover generator coming, which will kind of help them on their journey as well. So we're all about trying to empower not just your authors that want to make this a career, and hopefully they can make it that way, but essentially bringing availability of publishing to anyone that has a voice that wants to be heard, and perhaps in a traditional sense could never get to that point of being published and being in a bookstore or producing a really good quality book with a lovely cover. So we're just making it as accessible as we can to as many people as we can.
Absolutely. I am a big advocate for IngramSpark. I have really had so much success using you guys, and I love that you're listening to authors and publishers as well and taking on these kind of comments and feedback and really actioning them and working towards solutions. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, look, we do. And I will get feedback directly from our author publishers. So once you have an account with us, and as far as we're concerned, you're an author publisher. So I always say author publisher. But yeah, I get feedback saying, yeah, I like that new dashboard, but it could be improved by doing this and this. And I'll always pass it on. I'll pass it on to the head office, and as that feedback comes in. But the really exciting thing is that if you look at the Ingram as a global entity, the amount, there'll never be an idea that someone's come up with that we're not already working on or thinking about, because it's just amplified, tens of thousands fold. So it's like if someone's got an idea, the chances are we're already working on how we can implement it.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate your time so much. I think you need to tell us what the website is so everyone can go and check out.
Yeah, so it's IngramSpark.com. So yeah, you can go in, open a free account, and put in your interior file, put in your cover file, look at pricing, but help yourself to all those resources you can find that will, checklists. As you say, Sarah, YouTube is a great resource for anyone just to punch in and say, okay, I want to get going. And make the most of all of those tools.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that's been really helpful for everyone watching and listening.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Thanks for the invite.
If you're listening and feeling like the publishing world suddenly feels a little less confusing, that's exactly the point. You don't need to do everything, but understanding your options gives you so much more confidence as an author. Remember, publishing isn't just about uploading a file and hoping for the best. It's about building something sustainable, something that gives your book the best chance to reach the right readers, whether that's through Amazon, bookstores, libraries, or all of the above. And if you're looking for support, guidance, or just a little extra inspiration, head over to serenadepublishing.com. You'll find everything you need to help you write, publish, and thrive as an author. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on The Right Podcast. Thanks so much for listening to The Right Podcast with Sarah Williams. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean the world if you'd leave a review and share the show with your writer friends. It helps more creatives find their way to us. And don't forget to follow Serenade Publishing on Instagram and TikTok for more writing tips, publishing advice, and exciting events to keep you inspired. Keep writing, keep dreaming, and know that I'm here to support you every word of the way.